Welcome back, everybody. If you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, we will be looking at and displaying some dead animals and parts of dead animals today. So if that offends anybody, go ahead and click off. That's fine. But for everybody else, let's take a look. First, we have Calhoun. This is an otter. We name him Calhoun because that's the road that we found him on. We were riding to church one morning, and he was laying in the median. Stopped. I told my wife we needed to stop, and she looked at me like I had lost my mind. We've been married for 16 years, or 15 at that point. It was the first time I'd ever asked her to stop for roadkill, and it was because it was just not hurt, other than being dead. But what I mean by that was it was in very good shape, and it was fresh. It wasn't going to be stinking and things like that. And within about a half a mile, I convinced her to let me go back and get this, threw it in the back of the van, sat in the car during church. By the end of church, everyone had heard the story, so we had people coming out doing show and tell, looking at it. Put him in the freezer for a few days and found a tannery up in Greenville that I was able to take it to. And within a couple months, they had it back to me. I could have left it in the road. It could have just rotted. Something could have eaten it. State more than likely would have come by and shoveled it up and hauled it off somewhere for disposal. But instead, one of my favorite animals, an otter, and my wife's favorite animals, I was able to stop, get it, and now it has a second life, so to speak, in our home. I'm able to display it. I'm able to let kids and other people touch it who have, that's touching an otter is not something everybody gets to do. But it's just a neat way to, again, give something a second life. I know upcycling is a very big thing in the fashion world, with not wasting clothes and fast fashion and all that stuff. My daughter and my wife love that stuff. But this is my version of upcycling. So, Calhoun. Next, we'll show you, today is Valentine's Day. This guy came in this week. So this is my wife's Valentine present. Happy Valentine's Day, baby. This is a red fox, if you couldn't tell. Again, found this guy dead in the road. Jude, a friend who's been on the channel, ate some cicadas and whatnot, swam with the manatees. He was with me, and when I stopped and threw this in the van, you would have thought I was an alien the way he looked at me. His eyes got big. He's like, I've never done this before. And, kind of walked through everything, but took it up, dropped it off at the same people, and they were able to, again, give it a second life. Now I've got this guy on the mantle right next to the otter, and he's just so soft. My daughter initially was horrified, but now she's fighting, wanting her own. Tried to explain that they don't just grow on trees. You gotta find the right one. But for people who think this is gross, can't imagine doing anything like this, bringing a dead animal into your home or part of a dead animal, it's no different to me than walking in the woods, finding a deer antler, bringing that home, turtle shell, walking on the beach, seashells. Yeah, it's the same thing. It was alive, and now you're giving it a second purpose in your home, something decorative, more than likely. I've got a few other examples here I'll throw up and show y'all some other cool things I found over the years that I've just kept in a box. They're not just out everywhere, but little stories that I have from different encounters over the years with wildlife. One of the more classic examples of what I'm talking about are shark's teeth. Sharks lose their teeth, thousands of them over their lifetime. And you can just be walking around on the beach, find these things, and they don't hurt them. Take them home, make a necklace, put them in a jar, whatever. It's a fun story to show your friends. Similarly, this is a stingray barb that was cut off of one. You can see let's see if I can get it to focus on these ridges here along the sides. It's very smooth and very easy to go down this way, which is why it goes in so easily. But if you were to try to push that way, it's digging in and actually cutting my fingerprints there just a little bit. So it goes in super easy and then does not want to come out. And that's where you get all that ripping and tearing. These right here, any guesses as to what these are? These are porcupine quills who were pulled off of, yet again, roadkill. just a couple examples. My dad brought them back from a trip he went on. But similar to stingray barb, they go in real easy, but then they don't pull out. They actually will work their way in further and further as long as they're in there. So if a dog or something gets stuck, you need to get them out pretty quickly, or else they're going to be in a world of hurt. This guy is pretty neat. Found it on a beach down in Honduras. This is actually quite fuzzy. Its hair, it comes from some type of arthropod, like, you know, lobster, crab, or something. I've looked up online and found some examples of what I think it could be, but I'm not really sure. But they get huge. It's some type of real deep, weird-looking joker that I cannot remember the name of. This is a fang from a tarantula. The tarantula was not killed for this. Whenever they molt their skin, the fangs come off as well. Back in college, I worked with some. We'll have a story time later about that one day. But the fangs also shed and get bigger. So I was able to keep one. And it's just kind of a cool memory to have. This is a black bear claw. Gotta say, I bought this. I'm not 100% sure how this was obtained. I would imagine it was from hunting, but just to give you an idea of how big those claws are, that's why they're able to run up trees so fast and rip up logs and things to find their food. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all a few cool little artifacts that I've found over the years. Forgot to mention my daughter also has a feather board when we're out walking or something like that, and she sees a cool feather, picks it up, brings it home. And because of that feather board, my dad made her this. We got a lot of family that hunt from different places and things, and they all sent feathers, and now she has ducks and pheasants and turkeys and all kinds of other cool things that she wouldn't have seen otherwise. Appreciate y'all sticking around to the end. Forgot to mention this guy's name is Mathis, the name of the road we found him on. Thought this would be a neat, fun video I could knock out and get some conversations going. Do you have any dead animals or parts of dead animals, turtle shells, seashells, things like that, shark's teeth, that you keep in a jar or display on a mantelpiece or have somewhere? Or does that stuff just freak you out? Or do you have something that I didn't think about that could be considered one of these things? Just leave a comment below. And if you're still watching and you find this kind of stuff interesting, just subscribe. Until next time, y'all be looking.